Hey guys, it's Primetime 99 outside of the Tesla factory. We got a few freaky libtards protesting Elon Musk. We're gonna go ask them why they're protesting an African American. What's the deal with that? What are you ladies doing out here today?
Oh, screw you.
Why are you out here protesting?
Elon Musk is taking my VA healthcare away!
You know, you're protesting an African American.
You're the racist.
You're the racist. You're the one protesting. He's an African American. Do you think it's okay to protest?
With your kindergarten toys. You got the first punch.
Is it
you better not miss.
How is Elon messing up anything to do with the VA?
Why don't you go and suck a turnip?
Let me ask you this question.
Give me some
Before
space,
I will. I'm not going to touch you.
wheelchair.
I'm not going to touch you. I'm not going to touch you. But this is what I'm saying. I'm not attacking you. Why don't you put on your mask, sir? Aren't you worried about COVID?
Goddamn right.
You guys are out here protesting an African American. Don't you think that's racist? What are they paying y'all to be out here? Like 45 bucks? You don't even care about Elon.
I care about human rights.
I don't think y'all are hateful people. I'm just saying.
It's a very strong word.
I do think you're protesting an African American. That could be conceived as racist, but whatever.
That's not what racism means.
What does racism mean?
It's when you discriminate against somebody that's different than you.
Well, aren't you guys discriminating Elon because he's a billionaire? It's too hot. I need to go in the shade too.
No, you ain't getting in the shade. It's hot fucking shade.
Well, I don't think you realize what a public sidewalk is. But
And you're gonna do what about it?
I'm not going to do anything. I'm not going to hurt. You deal with these libtard people, and it's sad because some of them are vets. Some of them are really confused. His breath smells like alcohol. Do you want anything from Chick-fil-A? I'll get you a chicken sandwich. You want one? Do you want a sweet tea?
You calling me gay or something?
We got some libtards, vets. I wish we could help these people out, but I don't know if anything can help these people out because they're cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs.
I'm so fly, I'm aligned with the planes. My grind so refined, I got no time for no games. Ask yourself why would I make time for you lames? At all costs, cause I'm a boss. But break them off, yeah, gotta break them off.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to Primetime with Alex Stein. I'm your host, Alejandro Stein, and we have a great show planned for you this evening. We have internet legend Joey C, ex-con, but we like that. That's why we like him. And first time in studio, I believe his second time on the show. He's some podcasts' worst fear. He's my friend and a very awesome, great guy. You know him and love him, Karl from Who Are These Podcasts. Karl, how are you doing?
I am fantastic. Thank you so much for having me, Alex.
You're being too nice
This
earlier.
is a dream come true.
No, it's not. You're gassing.
It is.
You're gassing me up. You're making me blush before you're like saying congratulations, this and that.
It's amazing what you've done.
Well, you have
I've
to.
been following you for a long time.
And I've been following you, but I'm saying it's not that easy to put on the tuck-friendly bathing suit. Everybody thinks you can just put on a tuck-friendly bathing suit and go to City Hall and go viral. It's actually tough. You have to wax, you have to trim. There's a lot to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I haven't done it myself, but I can imagine it'd be a lot. Although Joey C, I guess, is going to be on the show, is now following in your footsteps.
He is, and we might as well just get to Joey C because I don't want to leave the audience hanging too much. And I know Joey is obviously super busy because he has one of the most successful podcasts in the Dabbleverse. Do we have the legend himself on?
We do.
Okay, should we watch it first and then we'll bring on Joey? Or should we watch it? Yeah, let's just take it full and then we'll bring everybody on. Let's watch it right now. The debut of Joey.
My name is Joseph Catalano, and I came to Clearwater about 20 years ago. Wonderful community. I moved here from Chicago. I am the founder and host of Catalano TV. It's a YouTube podcast. I was forced to retire 3 weeks ago because the police refused to get involved. I got people trolling my house, coming to my home. These are internet trolls that paste my photo all over the community. They went and made false records on me, saying that I was a pedophile. They made false documents, putting this all over the internet. And all I'm trying to do is do a good podcast. I've been very successful at it. I wanted to do a lot of things in the community with my podcast. I got a guy named Stuttering John who rips people off and won't even pay me the $50 he owed me. I got to answer to people like Bubba Love Sponge. These are the people that I work for, Bubba Love Sponge. I work for TSN and Shuli Egar, Carl Heberger, WATP Podcast. These are all major podcasts. And these internet trolls, and nobody does nothing about it. They call my wife's phone at 4 o'clock in the morning and tell her on the telephone and leave recordings that they want to physically hurt my wife and hurt my 3-month-old grandbaby by raping them. And nothing's done. Nothing's done. I gave this to the police department, and all the evidence that I gave them got lost. This is crazy. Where does a person like me, who I retired from what I did for 27 years, and I was fortunate enough to retire at a young age, okay? And I'm a very vocal person, and I wanted to do something good with my podcast, which I have, and I'm forced to sit out now because these internet trolls and guys like Stuttering John, and they just destroy everything, and there's nothing to be done about it. And I'm in fear of my life now, and I've never been in fear of anything in my entire life. And I don't know what to do about it. So I plead with this council to start looking in, and then I got people taking my voice, my photo, and making AI stuff and making millions of dollars with this, and there's no protection for me with this AI, all these AI stuff. For me, they're using my likeness, and they're making money. I don't get a dollar of this. And I can't even find an attorney that knows anything about this AI stuff. We have to get thinking of the future. I got grandchildren that are wonderful, very smart. Where's our future for our children? You know, I'm 60 years old. We don't know if we're going to be here tomorrow. Nobody knows that. That's a fact. We could not wake up tomorrow. And I want to make a better community for the children of the future. So I implore you guys to start looking into this area of the podcasting and the AI stuff and these trolls that should be put in jail or mental institution. I want to thank you for hearing me today, and much respect to everybody. God bless you.
That is his best work right there.
And there he is, the legend, Joey C.
Joey C. What is up?
Joey, how are you doing?
Buddy, I told you before, I always got you on my mind, buddy. You know that.
I like that shirt. I like the merch, Joey. You did a hell of a job. Did anybody ever contact you from Clearwater about helping out the podcast? You never actually explicitly said if they did reach out or not.
No, they never. No one has reached out. No, not yet.
Wow, I'm surprised. So, Carl, what was your initial reaction from seeing Joey C. say your name at a Clearwater City Council where Scientology is very powerful, and then I had just spoken negatively about Scientology, so they're going to connect me and Joey, and then theoretically connect you to Joey, so you could be under attack of Xenu L. Ron Hubbard. So.
Yeah, that is very scary. No, I was really impressed. That was your best bit ever, Joey. When you went into the millions of dollars being made off of your AI likeness, that definitely gave me a chuckle. I LOL'd at that.
I even called you out on that, Joey. What did I say after at lunch? We went to lunch after at Hogan's Hangout. What did I say? I said, Joey, come on, millions of dollars from your likeness. And Joey believes that, though. Joey, you said that. You corrected me. You said, no, it is millions of dollars potentially. Isn't that what you said?
Yes. Potentially, yes.
So what does potentially even mean?
Potentially,
I have millions of dollars.
I know, exactly. I'm just saying potentially. I said, no, maybe 1,000, maybe 2,000. He goes, no, potentially it's millions, Alex. You're wrong. You don't understand the Joey C. brand. And I said, you know what, Joey C., maybe I don't. And I can't fault you for, believing that. I don't want to.
I use Joey's AI on my show.
You gotta believe in a dream.
And you use Joey's AI, and look, you're making thousands of dollars. So Joey's not wrong.
No, I make a lot of money off Joey C.
How much money do you think you make off Joey C? Tell him, be honest right now. He's not going to sue you.
I'm thinking about buying a 4th and 5th house.
Oh my! And Joey C.
Thank you.
You're doing this.
I might buy his house. I don't even know.
Carl, you're laughing, but now you've radicalized him so much that he's at city council meetings calling you out.
Oh, I did that.
You did that.
I had nothing to do.
I'm not doing. Who did that? Did I steal your likeness, or did Carl from Who Are These Podcasts?
No, you're the one who encouraged him to do
Who did that? Who is more responsible for you going to the city council?
Opie, Alex Stein.
Which is all who's birds of a feather flock together.
Whoa.
Guilt by association, which is true.
Like Heberger, I believe.
Yeah.
I'm not El Harible. That's ridiculous.
Well, Joey, I want to say you did a great job. We're going to send you that clip. I want you to share it. But Carl,
how are there more camera angles for that meeting than on my show? How many cameras are in that place?
When you were Primetime 99.
That's pretty wild, yeah.
Yeah, how many angles? Did you see how well that was made? Because we had Mama C filming. I was filming. I think Paige, my girlfriend, Prepaid Wireless, had an angle. Dude,
impressive.
It was like a Stanley Kubrick movie.
Yeah, that was well put together. I was trying to get the original footage that Joey put out on his YouTube channel, but then he deleted it.
I made him because that's what Carl said.
Yeah,
Carl's like, I already saw his speech. I go, you didn't see this version.
No, I didn't.
No, you didn't see this version, no. Yeah, I was up there for about 15 minutes, and then Alex said, don't put it out there, and I took it back off.
Joey, well done. Were you nervous to do that?
I wasn't nervous, but I was like, what am I going to say? And
Joey wasn't nervous. Wait, I had to cut you off. Joey wasn't nervous. I thought he would be nervous.
He didn't look nervous.
He was not nervous at all. No, he was very calm.
I like doing this. I like to do a lot more of these. I love it.
It's great. I love you taking on the internet trolls. It's about time.
Yeah, so
Someone's got to do it.
and you're right. Carl and I are about to get into these internet trolls, but hey, you did a good job. You called out the trolls. I don't think it's going to stop them. I only think it's going to encourage them to probably mess up your life. But that's how it works when you call it the trolls. It only radicalizes them more. Okay, Joey, before you go, we're going to be doing some more stuff. I'm going to be in Tampa. I just got invited to host the Young Republicans of Florida. They have an annual summer gala, and so I will be there June 21st.
There's Republicans in Florida?
Believe it or not, it's a Republican state. But Joe Biden did win that state when it came to mail-in ballots in 2020, which is weird. But neither here nor there. Joey, we're going to be back together in June, so are you ready to go do this again in about 3 weeks?
I'm ready, brother. I'm ready.
Okay, 3 weeks. I'm going to see you. What else you want to shout out before you go? Are you going to come out of retirement?
September 1st, but I got an Adam Bush interview June 12th, 6 p.m. Eastern Time on Catalano TV. Big interview.
That's the wrong way.
Yeah, wrong way. There you go. Carl is quick to correct that.
Right? Yeah, June 12th.
It's Carl.
Well, Joey, you're the man. I think that video is going to do really well next time. Okay, but let's give him for next time. Who should he have called out? Who did he forget, Carl, in your opinion? Who should he have named?
Chad Zumock.
Yeah, Chad. Why didn't you bring up Chad?
Zumock.
He's in Tampa.
Right.
Oh, my gosh. You got to bring up Chad next time. You need to make it all Chad next time. You need to talk about Chad stole your credit card and ran it up.
We'll talk about it.
Yeah,
no doubt.
We'll talk about it. So, Chad Zumock next time. Okay, shout out before you go. Shout out where everybody can support you.
Catalano TV. Alex Stein TV.
We want you out
I
of.
can't hear you, Alex.
We need you out of retirement soon. All right. I'm gonna call you.
He's taking the whole summer off?
I know. You need to
do
come
that?
back.
Can I do that?
Yeah, no, you cannot do that. You cannot do that.
I did it for various reasons, though, but mostly for, getting my mind to rest, so I could really focus on doing this new thing I want to do. So
this guy right here.
Everybody, listen to me. Prime Time 99 on the board. Stein is the man.
I love Joey C.
Joey C is a Chicago Cubs guy.
Yeah.
He hooked me up with my boyhood hero, Leon Durham.
No, he connected you with
me with Leon Durham. I got to talk to him on our show.
That's pretty strong. That's
Very
strong
cool.
to
Very
quite strong,
cool,
especially in
Joey C.
childhood. Because I have players like that, like Rafael Palmeiro. I really liked Juan Gonzalez. Because when I was a young kid, that's when they were on top. So it's funny. He connects you with. You have that special connection when you're a kid, and they're good. That's why I don't know any of the good players today, hardly. Because I'm not like.
You don't follow baseball.
I don't follow baseball, but
that's why.
All right, get out of here.
I got a lot of Palmeiro stories for you.
Well, I want to hear some Rossi stories. We're going to have you on longer, but I want to talk to Karl because we got a lot of the Dabbleverse to dive into.
Go right ahead, brother.
All right, you're the man, Joey. I'll talk to you again very soon. Great work.
All right, good to see you, buddy.
Good work. We're going to do it again very soon. All right, we love Joey C. Everybody go support Joey C. on Twitter. Give him a follow.
Joey C. would wash their socks. He pretends like he's the manager.
Yeah, he was a jockstrap. He was bad boy. Yeah. I mean,
bad boy.
I wouldn't mind. What was it? The Chicago Barons. I wouldn't mind claiming Michael Jordan's jockstrap. That wouldn't be that bad. Would you have not liked that?
How much communication do you get with Michael Jordan in that role? I don't think he respects you.
You get to watch him put it in the bag. Okay. You get to watch him take it off delicately.
I don't watch that.
You get to watch him bend over, and he puts it in the bag.
Hard pass.
You get to look at it.
Hard pass on that one.
You pass the test, you're not gay. All right, guys. Well, actually, let me take a little pause. Why am I always saying something controversial before we go into an ad read, Jimmy? Why do you let me do that?
I don't know.
One time we were talking about the Holocaust. One time we were talking about it. I mean, can you fix that in the future and make sure that I'm not talking about a controversial subject before I'm right about to go into an ad break?
Got it.
Thank you. All right, guys. Let's be honest, we're not getting any younger. And if you want to look and feel your best, you need to check out Pure Health Research. They have 45 premium health supplements designed to help with every health goal in mind. Whether it's boosting your energy, trimming belly fat, supporting healthy blood sugar, pumping your testosterone up, or even reducing swelling in your legs, Pure Health Research Supplement Store has you covered. Each formula is crafted with natural, non-GMO ingredients backed by clinical research and manufactured right here in the United States of America. And here's the best part, guys. Pure Health Research is offering you an exclusive 35% discount. All you got to do is go to purehealthresearch.com and use the coupon code ALEX at checkout. With their 365-day money-back guarantee, there's zero risk in trying something new. So why wait? Head over to purehealthresearch.com right now. Explore their 45 amazing supplements and save 35% before this deal ends with the coupon code ALEX. Don't miss this chance to start the year feeling your best. purehealthresearch.com. Use that promo code ALEX so they know that I sent you. Okay, now we can dive deep into the Dabbleverse. So, Karl, let's get a little bit of your backstory. We were just talking about it. You were a man that worked so hard, but you had a normal job. So can you tell us, What is the backstory of Karl, the normal guy, before you became Karl, the internet, podcast biggest nightmare?
Yeah, so I was in digital marketing. I was a partner at a firm in Rochester, New York, and I started up for these podcasts February of 2016. It was a hobby.
2016. Okay, so Trump's in office. So I'm just trying to think about the time. February. So he literally just got into office in 2016.
Yeah, is that right?
I don't know. I always
Was he elected in 16 and started in 17?
Well, the reason why I bring this up, though, Karl, is I've noticed a trend with a lot of my friends with Cassidy Campbell and stuff, because I started a little late. I was working at Cheaters. Everybody started to get into YouTube kind of during the Trump presidency. I know that's weird. Obviously, there's people before that, but a lot of the people that I noticed, it was kind of like 2016, 2017. There's something about those years.
And I wasn't in YouTube yet, but 2016 when we started the podcast.
And that was definitely early. I want to say 2016 is definitely early, but that's kind of the early.
You're right, though, because like Dick Masterson started doing his show at that time, and Cumtown started doing their show at that time, and these are all really big shows they turned out to be. But I started it because my buddy Kevin, who I used to play in a band with, was a stand-up comic, moved up to Seattle.
Okay.
And so it was an excuse for us to like chat once a week.
All right.
So we started doing a podcast together, and it was my idea because I loved Opie and Anthony and Jocktober. I said, what if we make fun of other people's podcasts? We'll do like a Jocktober.
Yes,
of
which
people's
is
podcasts.
a great bit. I mean, Opie and Anthony did a great job doing it. But they're not the first. They kind of did, I guess, institutionalize it or create a thing. But everybody's kind of teased other shows. You know what I mean? Howard would do that. I mean,
Yeah.
The
Nowadays,
idea, but I'm saying the idea of having like radio beefs and calling out a show and saying they suck, that's not brand new. That's not a brand new idea.
I would say, I think that Opie and Anthony were unique in that they pulled clips.
Yeah.
And Sam Roberts was the producer, and what he would do is he would listen to a radio show, some morning show in some market, and he would just listen to the day before.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
And he'd pull clips, and they'd play the clips, and then react to them. And so Anthony and Jim Norton were hearing it fresh. They didn't know what it was, and would just react to it just like that, like hear the clips and then goof on these guys, because morning radio is a joke.
Yeah, I know. Well, Howard tried to rip it off. He did the Tradio, and I'm a big Howard mark, and Tradio.
Tradio stuff, that's Richard Christie.
That's Richard Christie. That was good stuff, but that's kind of similar to, even though they would call into it, but they would make fun of, like, look at this shitty radio podcast, but they would actually interact with it, so I guess that would be what was different. So we're talking about this. You have the idea. You want to start making content where you kind of just bash these bad podcasts, which is funny. It was
just a hobby. It was just something to do, to connect with my buddy Kevin once a week, and about a year into it, he quit.
Okay.
And I went, I kind of enjoy this. Maybe I'll keep it going.
Yeah.
And I didn't run the show. He ran the show. I didn't know how to do any of this stuff. So he taught me.
You didn't have a Patreon really at this time?
No.
I'm saying, so you had nothing.
There was no money coming in at all. It was just a hobby. And so he quit. And so I decided, like, all right, well, just start having some of my other friends on. I've been in bands all my life. I have a bunch of friends that, we go up to rehearsal and just shoot the shit and try to make each other laugh. So I was very comfortable with a bunch of different guys who started coming on the show. I just started mixing up. I thought I was going to try to find my permanent new co-host, but it turned out it worked out better to just have different people on it makes it a different show every week.
I think that always is good.
Alex been on the show a few times.
I have, but I'm saying I like to have the idea of a rotating co, because you can have the same co-host come back, you know what I mean? But it's nice to just switch it up. It makes the show interesting, I think.
Yeah. So it's really bizarre because, we started doing the show, and I was almost ready to quit a couple of years in, because it was taking up a lot of my time. And like I said, there was no money coming in. Yeah. And then we made fun of Opie's podcast, because Opie had just started with Westwood One, and he made a podcast. And
is this the one where Karl was on it? It was Karl Ruiz. Yeah, he was on it this year.
I'll never forget this weekend, because I did with my wife. My wife and I recorded a podcast making fun of Opie, and someone converted that to a YouTube video. This is over Memorial Day weekend back in 2018, and that video got 75,000 views the first day. They were talking about it.
But this is back when he was still kind of popular, because this was kind of fresh off.
He just got back into podcasting. He was fired from Sirius, was out for 8 months.
After he took a picture. And, this is one thing I want to say, because we're going to talk about why he got fired. He took a picture of a guy pooping. He talks about, Opie's not that clear about it. But this is one thing, show me, because Opie's probably going to see this. I actually feel like Opie gets too much heat. You guys bash him all day long for his Gephardt thing. Yeah. I mean, he's not trying. I get the criticism of him is that, oh, you're not trying, so that's why you're not failing, because you're not trying. And I think that's probably partially true. He doesn't want to actually try to go back and do the Westwood One. He wants to kind of do the Gephardt thing, because it's like, guys, look, obviously this is chill. But why are we hating on him for making a stream? Like, I honestly don't think the Gephardt's is that bad. Is it that bad that he's just streaming in a beer place?
It's terrible.
Is it? I know. I see you talking about.
Do you see like his buddies who hang out with him there? They're all losers.
I watch it all the time. I watch you react to it too. And he's just
crazy. They rob the waiter.
He's just sitting down there. I think it's kind of funny. You like to go to a bar, though. I mean, you've sat hours.
pretend I'm doing a show at the bar. I just hang out with my friends like a normal adult.
And once again, I'm white knighting for Opie only in the sense that when I watch a show, there's no production value. There's nothing. It's just his GoPro and his laptop.
Audio sucks.
The audio does suck.
Everything
usually.
about it's terrible.
But you guys just bash
lighting.
him so much. I'm like, this isn't that bad. And like I'm trying to think like. Stuttering John is a little worse, than Opie, I guess is what I'm saying when it comes to their level of production value. But still, they're so bad. Okay,
no one's worse than Stuttering John.
no one's worse.
I'm with you on that.
I sent him a mic. I try to help him on it. He doesn't even know how to plug in a damn USB mic. So we're gonna get into Stuttering
That's
John.
right. I forgot you helped him out with the ring light.
I tried to help him out with a bunch of stuff. He's an idiot. And I'm not even.
You're an idiot. Which, by the way, I want to talk to you about the moon landing. We'll get into it later.
Okay, well, yeah, because the moon landing. No, I'll write that down.
Okay.
Moon landing. We have so much because we got to talk about Blind Mike. We have so much to talk about.
Oh, good. Okay, I love Blind Mike.
But real quick, so Opie, I want to get back to the maturation of Karl. So what the hell? So Opie, even though you make this first video making fun of him, the guy you're kind of teasing, if it wasn't for him, you almost would have stopped doing your show.
Yeah, I was ready to be done with it. It was taking up too much of my time. And I didn't put up that video. Someone else did. Someone else put up that video.
Somebody clipped it themselves.
And then Monday...
And it was harder to clip stuff back then. Screen
Oh, yeah,
recording
it
was
wasn't
so much
a thing.
harder, yeah.
And then Tuesday morning, because it was the holiday weekend, Jim and Sam show was talking about on Sirius XM. People were calling in the Anthony show talking about, like, everyone in the O&A universe was talking about us making fun of Opie and kind of like Jocktobering him. And it was just a few weeks after that I got the call from Anthony to come on his show and be a guest. And a couple weeks after the Opie thing, we did Stuttering John, and these just became regular segments on the show that really caught on. And then obviously going on Anthony's show is where we got a lot of supporters from the old O&A show.
And now your show has blown up. I mean, your Patreon's great. Everybody needs to go subscribe to Karl's Patreon if you like his content, because probably a lot of people watch your stuff don't even realize. I mean, they figure it out once they watch a few clips.
2 bonus shows every month.
But I'm saying, I bet a lot of people don't even realize it until they've watched 10 of your clips. You know what I mean? Like, it takes a minute just the normal viewer. So everybody, if you do watch Karl's stuff, make sure to go support him on his Patreon. There's a link right when you go to his homepage of his YouTube. So that is one way that you can support Karl, or just join a membership of his YouTube
just
channel.
subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit notifications so that you know when we're on.
And you're grinding. Okay, now let's go through a couple people in the Dabbleverse. Now, this guy is, I would say, the #1 villain.
Does anyone care about the Dabbleverse? Is this going to be weird for your audience?
My girlfriend hates the Dabbleverse, rightfully so, because there's a lot of horrors in the Dabbleverse I don't want to get into. Well, we can't get into it. But real quick, I want to start with the villain of the Dabbleverse, a guy that I think is very funny, but he's come after me for unnecessary reasons. The villain, I don't know how else to describe him, of it all, the man, the host of Burning Bridges, Misery Loves Company, Kevin Brennan. What is your opinion, and you have strong opinions, of Kevin Brennan?
So Kevin Brennan is one of the few guys, he quit stand-up comedy. He was a very good stand-up comic.
Very good.
He was opening for Louis C.K. in his final
He's been on every late night show.
Dr. Katz. You go through the list. He's got quite the resume. He was on Saturday Night Live.
For a year, got fired, but still incredible.
Yeah. But a very funny comic. He literally can't do comedy anymore because someone will beat him up. If he goes to the Comedy Cellar, if he goes to any of these clubs where he used to work out of, there are people who want to beat him up. He needs a bodyguard with him. That's how much of a piece of shit he is.
Yeah, because he talks shit unprovoked. I've never done anything to him, and he's taking shots at me because and Kevin is funny, like you and I keep saying, obviously a good comic, but the problem with Kevin is him being that funny is not gonna, eventually him being funny is gonna run out.
He's spiraling.
All the bridges are going, like literally all the bridges are going to be burned, and this is a guy that was, forget about his.
He used to have great guests on his show. I did a show. You've done his show.
Well, but Chad is
great guest.
The best guest ever. Primetime Alex Stein. Well, and he goes after you a lot. And Chad has got him some decent guests. I'm just saying the guy's been connected to everybody, but because he just burns every bridge.
That's what I mean. The guests now are ridiculous.
Well, it's Keanu, your favorite.
Keanu was on, recently. But no,
I think
it's
a regular
crazy
guest.
how he just finds like these losers who were super chatting him.
Are you calling Ashley Cummings a loser? Whitney Cummings' sister? She's not a loser.
I don't know Ashley Cummings.
You don't know who Ashley Cummings, Roma?
I feel like I could have taken a shot, and I just didn't. No, I don't.
She's so one of the people in the Kevin Brennan universe is Whitney Cummings' sister. Is Ashley Cummings.
Yeah, I'm not following this thread.
Wow, I thought you were an expert in it. No, I'm just saying. So there was just a recent thing, and I don't even watch MLC that much anymore. Is that Mr. Kill Everything is having a love affair with Ashley Cummings, Whitney Cummings' sister, and they try to keep it
in real life. They're actually having an affair.
Yeah, and supposedly because they showed Mr. Kill Everything went on Kevin's stream, and because the people in the Dabbleverse are sick predators, they were able, and not all of you, but they were able to match the kitchen cabinets to Ashley Cummings' kitchen cabinets from like a podcast 2 years ago or something. And it was the exact same kitchen. You know, you could just kind of like the magnets on the refrigerator or whatever you want to call it. There's just some things you can tell that's the same kitchen. So yeah, they got exposed for dating, and nobody, a normal person that's watching.
Good for him.
Good for him, Mr. Kill Everything.
He came out to one of our live shows in Detroit. I met Mr. and Mrs. at the time, Kill Everything.
Oh, is he good? Is he?
They're divorced now.
Okay, good. I hope I didn't cause. I didn't know that.
Could you imagine if you just outed him as a cheater?
I would have been.
You used to work on cheaters.
Yeah, and I would have filmed it. I would have gone and confronted him. Okay, now this guy, I would say he's become the king of the Dabbleverse in a way, even though Joey C is the real king in my opinion. I would say Anthony Cumia. Anthony Cumia is back on top, WABC. So in all of this, where would you rank, or how would you kind of put in the order? Is Anthony Cumia the top of the Dabbleverse, or is it really Howard? This is my argument. Or is it really Howard Stern, because Shuli and Stuttering John kind of came off the Howard Stern tree? But you could argue that Anthony came off the Howard Stern tree because his first appearance was impersonating, I forget who did he?
Jackie.
Yeah, Jackie on the
impression.
Howard Stern show.
I'm the top of the Dabbleverse, motherfucker.
Yeah, well, we're going to put you there.
What do we do? We're declaring Shuli and Anthony? What's going on right now?
So you're about,
it's very insulting.
Wait,
sir.
no, don't show.
I'm sitting
Anthony
right
anymore.
here.
No, you really are. You really are mad about that because you are the.
I'm not mad about
show
that.
him. Yes, you are.
I'm totally
You're mad.
joking.
I called Anthony the king of the Dabbleverse.
I love Anthony.
Jimmy,
he's a good buddy of mine.
How ready? I know. And
He's bright red.
He's
oh
like
my
your
gosh.
role model. Anthony's like a role model, and Anthony's a role model of mine. You know, I want to emulate Anthony. I'm a different type of
one of the greatest broadcasters ever.
And I'm not just saying that to kiss his butt. Objectively, he is one of the top broadcasters to ever talking to a mic. But my point is, you felt some sort of way when I called him the king.
No, I did not.
Well,
I just saw an opportunity.
Well, you're the most organized, and you're the biggest expert on the Dabbleverse. I would just say Anthony is probably, he was like of the guy that's still participating, he's had the most success.
It's incredible. No. Anthony Cumia is in a world way beyond me by far. I'm totally joking about all of that. But no, it's incredible that he still stays so connected. Like, he was just texting me the other day watching one of our segments about Opie and just going, hey, by the way, Karl, the thing that Opie was saying here is actually a thing that I used to say, and he's ripping me off. Like, he messes me all the time about this stuff. He's so tuned into it. It's great.
He's a little too tuned in. And you know who else is tuned in? This guy you just brought up, Opie. We got full screen number 3. So when you come to Anthony and you look at Opie and you look at their true trajectories, and a guy you obviously give a lot of grief to is Opie.
Yeah.
Why is Opie, you know, we're just talking about the Gephardt show. Why is Opie not having success in his post-O&A career?
Turns out he was never talented.
Is that what? No.
He was never talented, and he's been exposed. He surrounded himself with talent, and now he's been exposed.
That's mean as hell. I thought you were going to say
it's
something.
true.
I thought you were going to say something like, oh, he's not trying, or this and that. So he's.
You could watch WATP and all of our backlogs. We've proven it.
Yeah, you do have some funny stuff. But I go back and I give him the benefit of the doubt, and then I really like those clips of Opie and Anthony. And yeah, most of it was probably Anthony, and most of it was, you know, a lot of Jim Norton. But he was in there mixing it up. Doesn't he deserve some credit? Even if you guys don't want to give him the credit as being one of the third mics, he was at least producing the show.
You know what Opie was good at? And the Opie and Anthony show obviously changed over time. It's 20 years. Any show would. But what Opie was really good at was the shock jock part and making people uncomfortable and saying the rude things to guests or bringing people on. Like, there was a guy who had like a toothpick sculpture or something, and he just destroyed it in front of him.
He stepped on the homeless guy's cake.
The homeless guy's cake. Like, that's what
he was the heel. He was the heel kind of guy.
He was like the dick.
Yeah.
You know, would do the shocking thing. And the shock jockery...
Which is easy to do because I do that. I mean, I try to do more than that, but it's easy to be the shocking guy. You know what I mean? That's not that hard.
You also have funny things to say.
Well.
But the shock jockery part of the show went away because of the FCC and different things that happened. Like, they used to have girls in there getting naked, all the stuff that Howard Stern used to do, that no one would find interesting in the internet age. It's like, I could see a girl naked.
That's what I'm saying. I talked to Bubba the Love Stones. We have Bubba. We didn't even include his picture. And Bubba's had to change his whole content because everybody can look at porn, so nobody cares about hearing somebody on the radio being like, I'm touching my vagina. You know what I mean? Like,
exactly.
It's just, it's lost its cachet or whatever you want to call it.
So they used to do this wiffle ball bat challenge, where they would have girls see how far they can get a wiffle ball bat into
the vagina. That's disgusting, yes.
Well, you assumed vagina. It could have been anal.
Oh my God, that's even worse.
I'm kidding. You're right. No, it was vagina. You're right. So that was like the thing that Opie used to do, and then when that went away, it turned into, oh, let's have Bill Burr and Louis C.K. and Colin Quinn. And
they got so lucky. They got like Louis C.K. and Bill Burr before they were really just
incredible. A-list comics were in there every day,
When they were
and Rich
B-listers,
Moss.
when they were B-list. You know, they were definitely
No, of
top
course.
comics, but they were
No, you're right.
B-list. They were
No,
B-plus list.
They
Bill Burr
weren't.
and Louis
Bill
C.K.
Burr wasn't on Star Wars then.
Yeah, exactly
Correct. It was
right,
very
yeah.
different. And they would have those guys on and just riff, and it was hilarious. And that's when Opie took a backseat to the show. He was just a passenger on his own show, which is, by the way, fine. If I was the host of a show and everyone there is funnier than me, wow, that's a good deal.
That would be a good quarterback if you have good players. You distribute the ball.
Correct.
I mean,
I play in bands, as I mentioned. I want to be the worst musician in my band. That means the band is great.
yeah.
Like, why wouldn't you want to be the least funny person on your show? That's a fantastic. Your
agree.
name's on the sign, and everyone's being hilarious, and you're making millions of dollars. But Opie hated that. He resented it.
Well, and you know what? This is my frustration with Opie. And I've met Opie. I think he gets a lot of criticism.
You met Opie?
I met Opie. I was on a stream. Opie's actually a nice guy in person. But this
I
is
guess I don't remember that.
yeah, you remember I was on a live stream at the Trump when they first said they were going to arrest him, and he happened.
Whose show haven't you been on?
Yeah, I know he was live streaming, and I just happened to be in New York City on the street. And
That's right.
Yes, you
Now I
saw
remember that.
Yeah.
Now I remember that. Holy shit,
Because I've
that's
invited him
hilarious.
on my show. But this is my problem: is that Opie's like says he doesn't want to talk about Anthony. He talks about Anthony every day, and you always talk about this. You always talk about this, and Anthony reiterates this, and I know he sees Anthony reiterate this about how the trolls in the chat will be like, Anthony said this, and Anthony didn't even say it, that Opie will just believe whatever the chat tells him that you or somebody said about him. Like, he'll be like, oh, fuck him. You know, he doesn't have any evidence of these people saying it. He just believes.
It's hysterical.
But what he does have evidence is that I would think that this would be a great episode. I think it would be beneficial to him, is that Anthony did invite him on his WABC show in New York City, and I don't know why he wouldn't go on there and make some good radio again. That would only benefit him. Maybe there's somebody else listening that wants to give him a show. I mean, you know what I mean? How would it hurt him?
Because he knows he has no talent. This is the thing that people don't understand. So Anthony has a show on WABC. He's actually filling in for Bill O'Reilly
yeah.
all week this week. Unbelievable. The guy was canceled off of mainstream media, and he's been brought back, and he's doing radio, and he's syndicated to over 20 markets. It's an incredible story. Opie likes to downplay it. But he lives in South Carolina now, but he travels up to New York once a month to do the show live in studio. And just this past Sunday night, Jim Norton was on. And the first time he went to New York, Jim Norton was on. And Jim Norton was the third guy on Opie and Anthony. So why wouldn't Opie go on? Why wouldn't they reunite those two? It's because Opie knows he's not good enough to stand and talk to Anthony and go toe for toe with them.
I
Is that a term, toe for toe?
Yeah, I think that is toe for toe. Another win for the toe, you know. And okay, now we have to debate. You brought the toe up.
I didn't mean to
less than 30
transition to
minutes. We have to go into it. So I have to draw my line in the sand because now Carl and I are about to debate. I hope we debate a little. Let's draw our line in the sand. And remind me, I want to get to, actually, let me just get to Blind Mike before we get into that.
Yeah.
I love your co-host, Blind Mike. He's on with Kirk Minahan. He's a Minahan co-host. I know Blind Mike's reacted to my content, this and that. I recently tried to make what did I try to ask for? A pardon from Dave Portnoy? I wish Blind Mike would put in a good word for me. I mean, I bet he would get
Portnoy
killed.
hates Blind Mike.
Oh, he does? Good. See, that makes it like, I didn't even know that.
You didn't know that?
That makes me
Portnoy
love
hates Blind Mike.
And I love Blind Mike. See, and I'm not just saying, I wouldn't be.
What's your issue with Portnoy?
I went and stormed his office. He invited me
right.
to his
I did see that.
podcast,
I
and
did
then
see
he
that.
uninvited
It's
me.
hard to keep up with your career, but I
know it
haven't
is a
seen all
lot.
that.
And so I brought my wife's boyfriend to his studios.
That's
and,
right.
and there was a homeless guy, and his butt was all over.
I remember
the
that.
glass.
That was great.
And I've tried, but I've tried to mend the fences multiple times, Carl, like done real things. And we have a mutual friend that works there that's not a personality, that's like part of their investment side, a guy that helps them do merch, like a real important business person that even tried to mend the fences, and Dave said he had no interest.
I'm a little surprised by that, actually.
But why does Blind Mike and him have heat?
Oh, because Blind Mike used to work for Barstool.
Yeah, I know that.
And Blind Mike, I think, was a different guy back then.
Okay.
And just rubbed Portnoy the wrong way.
See, I thought he still worked for him. So he used to work for him.
He works for Kirk Minahan.
Oh, he works for Kirk, but he's not Barstool. I get
He's
the
not
difference.
Barstool.
Okay, I get it.
It's weird.
I can see how it is different. But
Real quick, though, Blind Mike, who I think is one of the best broadcasters.
Great. He's very funny.
He's my co-host on Who Are These Socials, which is another show that I do Thursday, 6 p.m. Eastern. On our
Everybody
YouTube
needs to go
channel.
watch it. It's great.
You can also subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts. Who Are These Socials is fantastic.
Even though you go after my guy John Cerasani too much.
Yeah, I do. I wanted to talk to you about John
Yeah,
Cerasani. We talk about social media. We talk about social media people, and I don't care about social media. I do a show about it, but it's only like an excuse to make fun of people with Mike.
It's good content. You know?
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
Social media is better than.
Like we're a show about social media. We don't even have a TikTok.
Yeah.
You know, like we're so out of it.
You should put your social media stuff on the TikTok.
No shit.
And I should too, because I always get all these strikes on TikTok.
I don't have a whole staff of people working with me like you do.
I mean,
what's your excuse?
Well, my staff.
Just me.
That is true. I don't have many excuses. Jimmy, you're going to have to work harder. Carl just called you out. Okay.
Got it.
And Jimmy, you know John Cerasani. Will you tell Carl what a gracious guy John Cerasani and Brandon, they can both attest to how gracious.
John's the man. He comes off as kind of a douchebag, but he's the coolest dude. He's
in
awesome.
real life, he's really nice. Like, you would love him. He would buy you a steak dinner, and you'd be like, whoa. This is
Alex sent me a text, and this is just like, it wasn't for show content. It was just private text. Out of nowhere, just Carl, just so you know, John Cerasani is a great guy. You would love him if you met him. And I had a lot of questions for you about that, because John's a guy who tries to buy friends. Has he bought you? Are you one of his friends?
I mean, when you say buy, though.
He bought me.
Well,
all right, there you go. See, Bert Kreischer, Tom Segura, he's trying to buy these guys.
Us, he's getting comped at a casino, and he bought us a nice steak dinner.
Ah, busted. Knew it.
But that's still nice. What I'm saying is he would buy you that same steak dinner. So this is the other thing. It's like people are like.
I have a theory about John. I think he's going to go broke.
You do?
Yeah.
Well, I do worry about his gambling because he does do big swings where he win. I've seen him win. I've seen him literally sit there and win $20,000, but I've also seen John lose $30,000.
Blackjack is not a game of strategy and skill.
No, it's just.
You will lose over time.
It's just a computer.
And he wrote a book about it now. He's all into blackjack.
But this is what he'll tell you, and John's a smart guy, obviously over time, but it's about bet management. You know, that's what they say. It's obviously you're going to lose, but you lose 9 in a row, and then you know you're going to win this one. And what, you know,
that's not how that works. But
I know, but well, Martin Gailing, I'm just saying that he would tell you that, of course, I know that over time the house is an edge, but I do this. This is my edge. I'm telling you, gambling is fun as hell, very risky. You're going to lose over time. No matter
poker is a game that you can get good at and win.
Yeah, but you still got to get lucky at poker.
There's luck involved, but if you're a professional poker player, you can consistently make money.
That is true.
Blackjack, not the case.
I agree that even the card counters get it wrong. I watch a lot of these card counter guys, and they're like, oh, I was counting at counting at what I can't even think of a casino, Aria, and I lost $1,700. You're like, okay, well, card counting is obviously not a sure thing. So yes, gambling's tough.
Card counting is tough because you have to be a single deck or maybe a double deck.
Yeah.
Blackjack table, which there's very few.
Very few. Like the Plaza has one, but even then, like I don't trust the counting that much. It maybe gives you a small advantage. But John Cerasani, I'm telling you, unfairly, he's actually a nice guy. And when I say buys friends, he's getting a lot of comps because he's losing a lot of money at the casino, or maybe he's winning money, whatever.
Alex said that, not me.
Well, I'm just saying he wins some. I've seen him lose some.
I'm sure he does.
He's been on live streams. So when you're like at the level that he's at, they give you a lot of free suites and they give you free stuff, and one person can't. If they give you because he's gambling $100,000, that means he has a restaurant credit for like $2,500. He can't use a $2,500 restaurant credit in the one weekend that he's in Las Vegas.
So how did you get to know him?
Social media, because you were covering him and I followed him. Yeah.
I introduced you to John.
No, I mean, kind of, not really. No, I had seen John's stuff, but then I watched yours, and I was like, man, this John guy. But I saw you dogging him out. I was like, this guy's actually cool. He played football for Lou Holtz in Notre Dame, but forget John Cerasani. John's a good guy. Love John.
You guys are both D1 football players, so you have that in common.
You can't beat that. All right, guys, from Angel Studios, a team behind the King of Kings, Homestead, and Sound of Freedom, comes The Last Rodeo. It's the action-packed story of a retired rodeo legend who straps back in for one last ride, risking it all to save his grandson. He's the oldest rider to ever enter the arena. The movie's about healing broken bonds, facing the past, and proving that real courage means fighting for the people you love. It's raw, it's heartfelt, and it might just leave you tearing up under that cowboy hat. And let me tell you something, guys. This movie from Angel Studios, the reason why it's a good movie, it's a family-friendly movie, and this old cowboy gets in there. I don't want to tell you if he wins or loses, or if he gets vengeance for his grandson, but I'll tell you this much. It might make you cry, but it will also make you happy. So, guys, the theaters are selling out. Hurry up. Order your tickets right now at angel.com/Alex to grab your seats for The Last Rodeo. It's in theaters now. That's angel.com/Alex. All right, now.
We got a couple $20 super chats.
Oh, yes.
All from Mr. Irrigation. He's on a tear. He says, #1 primetime fan, the Gulf of ICA. Hello from 008. Hello from Champ City, NFL, MLB, NBA.
Okay,
just
love
in a
that.
flurry of super chats.
Thank you, Mr. Irrigation. Okay. All right. Well, then, yeah, that's good. Now, I want to debate. I am now we're going to get into the meat and potatoes of the podcast.
Right.
You recently
always wait 40 minutes in to make the podcast good. That's what I say.
I agree.
Yeah, smart.
That's the best.
Smart move.
Always do it at the very end. You never do the high spot at the beginning. In this war against Nick Rekieta, what do I call it? The Rekieta parables. The Nick Rekieta parables.
Yeah.
I actually like Nick Rekieta. I've talked to Nick a lot. And I've tried to kind of befriend Nick a little bit since he's going through this. And Nick hates me now.
Does he?
He does. I don't know why. But I've talked a lot about it. I don't think I've been really too harsh. I think I've been very fair with Nick. I have, teased him that his 9-year-old tested positive for this and that. But I've been the first person to say that Nick is incredibly talented. I think he'll be back on his feet.
Okay, let's talk about that real quick.
Yeah.
So Nick, this is the thing that everyone uses against him. And we did this little pig I host a show that's about Aaron Imholte, who is, him and Nick are fighting.
Yes, of course.
And so everyone always teases Nick about his 9-year-old testing positive for cocaine.
Yes.
There was a hair follicle test.
Whatever, yes.
That came back positive. And, I don't know if that's true or not, because
there can be false positives. I'll say that. I'm not going to sit here and lie
the state let it go and let the kids move back in with Nick. So it tells me that, maybe the kid wasn't doing cocaine.
Well, and I'm the first person to say this. And who was it that got heat? I forgot who else got heat for saying this, but even if he had a house, it was a dirty clothes or whatever, that's not abuse. Because he was being, kind of a distant dad or whatever, that's not even close to abuse because his dad was partying. Those kids, if they were being, how they made the narrative that, he made spaghetti or that, they made SpaghettiOs they weren't eating. Obviously, the kids were eating. They were going to school. They were never, in my opinion, I've said this from the start, Nick Rekieta has never abused his kids. I just want to make that clear. I know that he's never, abused his kids. Maybe he was a little absent or whatever because he was, having a little fun. But that,
They were partying a lot.
Yeah, I would not consider that abuse, though, having a parent that parties. Actually, that'd be kind of fun because then as a kid, you can kind of do what you want. But having a cool parent, for some people, they would say that's bad. For those kids, it might not be a bad lifestyle for the kids, so that's why I don't think they're being abused. Okay, so I'm not saying he's abusive. In the steel toe drama, though, Aaron, who was the cuckold, and Nick was a cuckold.
Yes.
I am empathetic to Aaron only because I feel like he's the one that got robbed the most in this situation. I feel like he, in this situation of the quadruple, of the throuple, whatever you want to call it, Nick did come out on top. He got Aaron's girl, and he got to keep his wife.
Yes.
So I feel like Aaron did get bamboozled the most 3 versus 1. If just trying to be objective in how I see it.
Right, and wouldn't you think that he'd play the victim card instead of acting like he was Nick is a cuck?
That is
it's
true.
It's very odd the way he plays it.
That is true. He's always like another win for the toe.
Yeah. He always acts like he's winning in all of this when he lost his wife to.
But isn't that shtick? Doesn't he know? And Aaron's probably obviously going to watch this. I think Aaron knows that his life is imploding. I know that Aaron. And I'm not saying
you got to get Aaron on this show.
I'll have Aaron on the show. But Aaron,
I would do Aaron's show if he would have me. I don't think he would, but I'd love to.
Well, you do a whole show about him. It's a little different. My criticism of Aaron is not as deep. I'm just saying I think Aaron would admit that he lost his wife at the time, so there's no way to go through a divorce and be a good thing. There's just no way. It's temporarily. Yes,
you don't get married. You want it to last forever.
Yeah, so I'm just saying his life has been taking a little downtrodden. He tries to say another win for the toe, but obviously he's not happy that he went through a divorce. Nobody, it's impossible to go through a divorce and be happy. So
and now he calls out his ex-wife is April.
Yes.
She used to be a co-host on the show. Mm-hmm. So a public figure in every single way. He made her a public figure, and I think that's part of the problem. But anyway, now he has a theme song that calls her a coke-whore. So the show starts off every episode calling his ex-wife a coke-whore.
Yeah.
Because he's angry about it. He's angry he lost his wife. He's still trying to get revenge.
To be fair, though, I've heard people call their ex-wives worse things than a coke-whore.
On a show in your theme song?
I mean, once again, I don't want to defend that. No, he doesn't. Glenn Beck would never do that, and I'm not defending that. I'm just saying I'm not surprised that he's laughing at the fact that his wife was getting blasted by Nick Rekieta. Aaron is to blame in this for even participating. Aaron is guilty, but I also do think that he was a victim.
Well, we also found out. So we did a live show in Vegas, Hackamania.
Yes, it was incredible.
A few weeks ago. It was incredible. Nick Rekieta came down. He shared some text messages. I think all of this is gross. I would never be into people's personal business.
It's so gross, yeah.
It's
but
so
you made
gross.
Thousands of dollars. It is gross, but it's funny and it's
Listen,
lucrative.
the only reason why I would even do this kind of thing is because Aaron was the one that came out and told all the secrets.
He did. He was the first. There
was no reason to do this.
And this is one thing. It is the whole reason they got in trouble was Aaron. I know. I mean, Aaron doesn't want to admit it, but Aaron going and saying that. I thought that was weird. I did think that was out of character of Aaron when he's like, "Yeah, we were doing Molly and ecstasy out of the blue." You remember that?
Yes.
People accuse him of it, but then the fact that he all of a sudden his narrative changed, where he's like, "Yeah, we did do that. I did it 2 or 3 times." I was like, "Why?"
He was lying the whole time. He's like, "No one better say that April's doing coke."
It was so clear. She was drunk on stream. You know what I mean?
I'll ban you. And then he comes back a few weeks later. He's just like, yeah, so April's on coke, and we were all fucking. And all this. By the way, I can't wait to see the comment section. No one could be following this conversation.
No, what are they saying?
Alex and I go so deep with this stuff. We're just talking about things that there's no context for at all.
No, they'll figure it out, though, the people that are into the Rekieta stuff.
I hope so.
So Aaron, in this whole thing, he's the victim, but now it comes out that is Nick winning by saying that Aaron ate his jism? Is he winning by even saying that? Isn't he telling on himself?
I don't believe in winning and losing.
You're right. You're right.
I think that's a weird thing that Aaron's come up with. Like everything's a win or a loss all the time. It's like we're all creating content. Like, for example, we just did this Little Piggy episode. I host a show called This Little Piggy on Fridays, and 6.5 hours it went. Because we had Nick on and then Keanu.
That was
Thompson
a legendary show. Everybody needs to go watch this. Go on, here are these podcasts, YouTube right now. It's a 6 hour.
It's actually on NLOs.
Oh, okay.
We go back and forth. So nobody likes Onions had it, unfortunately, because he made a shit ton of money.
I made a damn. What a bad draw. You got the bad luck on that.
I'm the one who sent Keanu the link, but he makes all the money. But anyway, so it was fireworks, and there's a lot of people who are on Keanu's side of it because they don't like Nick Rekieta. There's a lot of people who don't like Nick Rekieta. Kiwi Farms don't like Nick Rekieta. There's a lot of people who think that obviously Keanu lost and she didn't sound crazy and didn't know what she was talking about. And so none of it matters. It was entertaining. People are still talking about it. I was watching a show today. They were still breaking down the footage of what happened.
It was hilarious.
I
want everybody to go watch it. I was going to pull clips, and I'm like, just go watch it. But Nick did call her the BIT, and I'm not one to. I call some people some wild names. He did call her a bitch.
There's a lot of name calling.
He called her a lot of bitch.
A lot of name calling, which is, you lose the argument when you start calling people dumb bitches.
I thought he was losing that argument, but there's some stuff that he was right about. But this is. Then I go and watch. I had to watch a little bit of Aaron's coverage of this. This is one criticism I have of Nick, though, after watching this, that I thought Nick was like getting mad at Keanu. He's like, "Fuck you, Keanu! You went after the person that I love," as if that he's still in a relationship with April, and he's not.
He's heartbroken. Obviously.
Yeah, that's what, obviously he's heartbroken. Yeah. But like, he's acting like he's hurt. It's like, I don't know if it's Keanu's fault. Like, it sounds like you're just heartbroken.
I don't think April likes Keanu at all because
I don't think
was
they're
reading
that great
her private text messages.
I don't think that they're that close either. Because
show.
Keanu couldn't find the text message until 2 days later, right?
I mean, it's weird that she sticks up for her friend April, and I think April hates her.
It's all virtue signaling.
So
and I love Keanu. I'm not even hating, but Keanu doesn't.
I love Keanu too. I'm friends with Keanu and Gino.
She couldn't give two shits about. I mean, she probably doesn't want April to be in a gutter dying, but she doesn't really care about her love life.
That's the other thing too. And so, Alex, this is the weird thing because being like on the internet perpetually and thinking that you know these people and stuff. So Nick Rekieta has all these detractors who really dislike him, and it's because of this kid stuff that we were talking about, testing positive for cocaine or negligent parents.
Once again, we do not think that he's an abusive. I've defended on that. I do not think he abuses kids by being a party animal. I don't think that's.
But why would anyone give a fuck about 5 random kids in Wisconsin?
Well, that's what everybody tells you.
Minnesota, whatever.
I mean, anywhere.
Who cares?
But everybody says that. That's kind of, and I do that at virtue signal because everybody cares about kids, so it's an easy cause to get behind. And
there's millions of kids.
I know, but it's like you're always right by saying it's just the easy win. It's the easy
so
virtue signal. It's like, oh well, Nick Rekieta's a good guy. Well, no, he's not. He didn't treat his kids right away, and you're like, oh, okay, it's hard to argue that. It's like I go to these college campuses, and sometimes the arguments are hard. Like this Sergio Abrego Garcia, how he got kicked out. Even Trump admitted that we didn't give him the due process. So people are like, do you like that the Trump administration is not giving due process? And I'm like, well, of course I don't like that. So there's just some arguments that you just can't win. You know what I mean?
Also, having a shitty childhood is really good for creativity.
It's one of the best things for creativity. Yeah. I mean, the best kids and the smartest.
You think Richard Pryor would have been Richard Pryor if he didn't grow up in a crack den?
Well, and it's funny you bring that up because that's a segue to the next guy, Chad Zumock, a guy that I love that came on this show. We brought up his criminal history, and I do love him. He hates me. He comes after me. He comes after my girlfriend. He's really just.
He hates everyone.
Person. He hates everyone. But I am so empathetic to Chad, and you don't have the same empathy.
No.
His mom was dating stepdads that were beating Chad's ass. So that is like
according to Chad.
Okay, you're right. Chad is full of shit. Chad is the biggest liar. See, now you beat me. You were good debating because Chad is so full of shit. Chad would lie. It would be Monday. Chad would tell you it's Wednesday. I mean, Chad, you could not trust him to tell you the truth about the time on the clock. So you are right. Maybe he was lying, but for some reason, that is such an embarrassing and personal thing. That why would you lie and say that you're beat up by stepdads? And for me, I think of like the movie The Butterfly Effect, where the kid gets abused by a stepdad. That's like a horror movie.
Sure.
Because the stepdad, that's the worst. Because my mom dated guys. Luckily, my dad got remarried too. And my mom, all the guys were really nice to me. But like, if a guy was bad to me, it could have really.
You're probably bigger than them.
Well, I wasn't. Big.
You're like, oh, you're dating my mom?
Well, my mom? I mean, maybe I was a little bit older. I don't know. I'm just saying it could have been bad. None of the guys my mom brought home were bad. But if they were beating my ass, your mom's always going to take the guy that she's banging side. So I feel like
I wouldn't think so. But yeah, okay.
You wouldn't think so, but I would think in this case, Chad's mom is probably going to whatever, for whatever reason.
He didn't grow up in a great house.
He grew up in a bad house.
That's for sure.
Like, we can admit that. So I'm empathetic to him because he's not, he doesn't have the same socialization.
Plus, he's dumb.
He's not that smart.
That doesn't help.
You bring stealing a credit card from the gym that you're at that has cameras every single place in the world. I mean,
he stole like 30 credit cards out of lockers in the gym. And he's so dumb that he would like go around to like
Domino's,
Chili's,
right? Yeah, Chili's.
and just like get a burger. Then he'd go over to CVS and buy some vitamins. It's just like all these like quick random purchases where they're just able to see like, oh yeah, that's the guy who was using the credit card right there. He's on the camera.
And why wouldn't he be doing it? Well, he needs to be making online purchases if you do this. And then
I don't steal credit cards, but that's where I would go. I'd go online.
Duh. You buy gift cards and you do. You can literally watch a video like on YouTube. How do I scam people out of credit card, whatever? And you would watch it better. You would figure out how to make more money than using it at Chili's. But
correct.
Whatever. Chad is a guy that has a long criminal history, and I think that he's going to continue to self-sabotage. So I don't have to worry about him at all. Okay, one last read, guys. I want to take a moment to talk about where we are right now, because let's be honest, conservatives are winning. The movement is gaining ground. People are waking up. The narrative is cracking, and the momentum is finally shifting. But the fight's not over, not even close. That's why Blaze TV exists, because in a world full of noise, we need a stronghold for bold voices, free thinkers, and fearless commentary that helps make sense of the chaos. At Blaze TV, we've built a home for some of the strongest, smartest voices in conservative media, people who tell it like it is, ask the tough questions the mainstream media won't touch, and aren't afraid to challenge the mainstream narrative. When you subscribe to Blaze TV, you're not just watching content, you're supporting a movement, you're backing creators who think for themselves, speak boldly, and refuse to be silenced by big tech or the corporate media. You're supporting investigative journalism that exposes corruption and original documentaries that shine a light on the deep state. It's everything the networks won't show you, delivered on your terms, on any device, anytime. And right now, you can try Blaze TV for just 99 cents for your first 30 days when you use the promo code PRIMETIME99 at checkout. That's an entire month of uncensored insanity for less than $1. So if you're ready to keep winning, shop your values and make sure we don't lose the ground we've gained, go to blazetv.com/Alex and subscribe today. That's blazetv.com/Alex, promo code PRIMETIME99, and try Blaze TV for only 99 cents. Blaze TV, unfiltered, unafraid, on demand. All right, Karl, we only got you for a few more minutes.
I'm jealous. You're very photogenic.
I am I?
You are.
Well, I've lost weight. I'm looking better. I lost some weight. I'm going to lose some more. I'm going to be looking really good.
Jealous of you.
And well, it's hard being it's hard being beautiful. It is a blessing and a curse sometimes, believe it or not.
Yeah. People don't take you seriously. They think you're just a face.
They just think I'm a sexy boy. They just think I'm a cute guy. That's why Jimmy doesn't ever take me seriously. He's like, oh, he's just a sexy guy.
He told me that when he brought me in today.
He's like, my producer wasn't so sexy. That's why I tried to get fat. I thought it might make him work better, but no, he was still, my sex appeal still shined through. Okay, now, we've talked about a lot tonight. We've gone through the whole entire.
We figured it all out tonight.
The Dabbleverse, but we didn't go into Shuli too much. So let's just kind of comment on Shuli.
Then I want to do moon landing stuff, but let's.
Moon landing. Oh no, we'll go to moon landing and Michael Jackson. Real quick, 1 minute on Shuli. Then
please.
I love Shuli Egar. Shuli's kind of mad at me. Like him and I have heat. He got some heat.
He is.
And not really mad. No, we don't have real heat. But this is the thing. And I defended him. People are getting so mad because he had a producer that got in trouble for some heinous stuff with child stuff.
Yes.
And people gave him criticism, and they came on my podcast said that. And I would defend Shuli to the day I die that he probably did find out the information and probably waited a week or two or whatever because he had to figure out how he's going to tell people, and people get mad at that. Whether that's
I don't even know why you'd think that.
Well, some people say that. They're like, Shuli has sat on the information. And
a lot of people say that. But
I'm saying,
Kevin Brennan.
But I'm saying, even if he did sit on but even if he did, he's allowed to sit on that information. This is serious information. He just works with the guy. He's allowed to digest and kind of figure out and process how he's going to handle this situation, especially a serious situation like this. He has no obligation to his audience to go the minute he finds out to just go out there and say, oh, this bad thing happened.
What difference would it make? For anything.
Well, people just want to accuse him for that. So I just want to say I defend him, and obviously I know Shuli's not a bad guy. So I just kind of want to bring up Shuli. I know he gets that heat, and his show's dominating now, so he's doing really good, and he's caught on.
I do a show with Shuli every Monday called Point Dabble Point.
And we love that show. Everybody needs to go watch Point Dabble Point. But Shuli, other than Kevin and Anthony, he's the third closest guy. To the you know what I mean? He's wouldn't you rank him kind of number 3 when it comes to
he saw what WATP was doing. He goes, I'm going to do that.
Yeah, he did, and that was smart.
He called me and asked permission. It was very nice of him.
I mean, but
and of course I can't tell anyone what to do for their show.
But and it's better to team up with him though. But when you saw him getting all those super chats, you're kind of like, all right, Shuli, because let's be real, Shuli was struggling for the first 2 or 3 years, just like Brent Hatley, just like a lot of those guys that left.
Yeah, Brent Hatley, wow, what a disaster
His podcast is doing bad, and I love Brent. Shout out Brent Hatley. We got your back, Brent. But I know know you've teased him a lot.
I have, yeah.
If you guys want to laugh, no offense, Brent, go watch who are these podcasts.
That was an actual cuck.
Yeah,
He's into it.
And he was editing
it.
his wife's porn. It's tough. But I've met Brent. Nicest guy in real life.
I've talked to him on the phone before.
He's probably nice to you.
Yeah, of course.
Okay. Well,
no, I'm not jealous of Shuli. I'm very happy for his success, and I think that they deserve it.
You're not jealous. I didn't call you jealous. I said you should be mad that that's some of your money. That's theft.
No.
You're not jealous of the crook that steals
I
from
think
you.
rising tide rises all ships. So
I do agree with that.
I think all of us talking about Stuttering John and Kevin Brennan or whatever we're talking about, it gets more people interested, and they all find it through different things. Like you were saying, you know, you've discovered shows through other shows, and I don't know how you found WATP, but it wasn't through me directly. It was someone.
It was probably the Tom Myers stuff. You know, honestly, it's funny. Tom Myers is on your show.
Myers is on my show tonight.
He's on your show right now, and he won't go on there.
Well, I wasn't there.
Everybody needs to go watch some of that Tom Myers stuff. Okay, last thing, moon landing. So you're a moon landing believer, denier?
Okay, so here's my question for you. I have no idea. I think the government lies to us about everything all the time. I don't trust the government at all. And I have not put very much work into looking into this, but you very much feel like we never landed on the moon. My question to you is, why would they stage it 6 times in 3 years? Between 69 and 72, they claim to have gone to the moon 6 times. Like, why wouldn't they just do the one time? Oh, we got away with it. Sweet. Let's never do this again.
That's a good question. It's a very good question. And I'm sure you're familiar with a movie starring Tom Hanks called Apollo 13.
Of course.
And in that movie, Apollo 13, do you remember what happened in that movie? That the mission to the moon, got derailed, and that all of a sudden they were going to crash and we're going to make it to the moon, and somehow they were able to fix it with tube socks and toilet paper rolls.
Yeah, the technology is ridiculous. That's the part that I'm skeptical about, because we can't go there now for some reason.
Because you're not following the trajectory I'm going.
Please,
but remember how this is the story in the movie. They fix everything with like a toilet paper roll. You're like, oh my God, they fixed it. What's funny about Apollo 13 is after Apollo 11, the original moon landing, and after Apollo 12, Americans were sick of it. And at Apollo 12, when they showed them landing on the moon for the second time, people were calling CBS or ABC, I forget which one it was, and they were mad that their I Love Lucy episodes were getting...
Rightfully so. It's not going to be on Max the next day.
They can't watch it the next day.
Hulu.
I know. It's totally... Right. I know. As you see, there's only... That's my perfect example. There's only 5 mediums of content. You know what I mean? There's only 5 channels.
Right.
Of course, somebody that loves I Love Lucy, all of a sudden they're like, oh, I've already seen him go to the moon. So then the second time they got, all of a sudden NASA's like, what the hell? People aren't happy about this. So then Apollo 13 happened. All of a sudden people are like, oh, wow. So I'm just saying, just the marketing level of it's weird. And I don't know anything. I've toured NASA, but there's a guy, and I want you to look this guy up. His name is Gus Grissom. He was the original Neil Armstrong. He was the #1 ranked Air Force pilot. He was the top guy. They said, hey, Gus Grissom, you're going to be, he was leading the Apollo program as the lead astronaut. Okay. And I'll show you this right now, Gus Grissom, when leading up to the Apollo mission, because JFK said we got to get to the moon by 1970, basically.
Right. I mean, it was all about beating the Russians.
Yeah, that's what they said. It's all about, even though the Russians were a lot more talented than us. If you can see, yeah, they had for every American astronaut, like we had 1 hour, they have like 100 hours.
Okay.
So this is at a test facility. You see, that's a lemon. That's a lemon right there. Okay. So this guy who hung that lemon, his name is Gus Grissom. Gus Grissom was the original astronaut that was supposed to be on the moon. He was the highest, whatever at the time, he was the most decorated Air Force pilot. Sure. And he hung a lemon on there because he said there's no way that this is going to get to the moon. He said that we cannot, with this technology, it's not going to go to the moon. He was about to do a NASA press conference. NASA stopped him from doing a press conference. He hung the lemon, said, I want to do a press conference. In between that thing, they shut down the press conference. Conveniently enough, less than 1 month later, they're doing the first test mission. This is a test mission. This is not going into space. The test was they're going to go walk into the big Apollo thing, and they're just going to sit in the seats and practice pressing the buttons for the launch. There's a practice launch.
Sure.
In the practice launch, they filled up the capsule with too much oxygen. A faulty button switch sparked something, and the capsule blew up. Killed all 3 top astronauts. Yikes. Then Gus Grissom's family says he was murdered because Gus Grissom told them if he died during this process that he was murdered. So I'm just saying, I don't know anything about it. We can talk about 1960.
You know anything about it? You seem to know everything about it.
I know quite a bit about it.
He's throwing out names and dates.
I know quite a bit about it, but I'm just telling you.
Do you think Stanley Kubrick was the one who filmed the
I don't know, but he was the best director at the time.
Sure.
I think that you wouldn't even need Stanley Kubrick to do it, though, because if he's done it in a movie before that, you could just get the people that worked on the movie. And Stanley Kubrick is probably a great director, but
Probably.
Well, I mean, obviously,
maybe, yeah,
but
sure.
I'm saying your director of photography is really the person that's going to know the shot. Stanley does a lot of that too. He's Stanley Kubrick. He's one of the greatest directors. But if Stanley Kubrick could do it, there's 2 other people or 3 other people on his crew that can do it too. That's just how it works. I'm sorry. It's not just Stanley Kubrick doing the lights and everything. So there's other people that know.
The producer could host the show.
He's tried to host it, and he fails every time. Guys, we've talked a lot about the moon landing. We got to look into it. We only have an hour-long show.
Okay.
Karl, thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for everything you do, making great content. Everybody needs to go support you. But before we go, tell the people how can they support you the best, and how can they find you?
Go to whoarethese.com. That is our website. I put out 2 audio podcasts every week under the Who Are These Podcasts umbrella, and that's the show where we make fun of other people's podcasts. It's audio and video, so if you go on YouTube, you can find us there as well. And I also host a show called The Creep Off, which is the only true crime show made for men. Me and my buddy Vinny Paulino.
And that was a good idea because I know, but all of those true crime stuff are all very feminine. But those feminine women that talk about it on YouTube too get millions of views. You know,
it's a crazy category. I'm not even into true crime.
Neither am I.
I'm not into social media. I do a social media show. I'm not a true crime.
You do all this stuff, and they're not even really that into. Because like I'm addicted to social media. I should do a social media.
I'm into football. I don't even talk about
football too. I'm a Cowboys fan. Well, people say I'm
Bills.
but people always say that I'm anti-LGBTQ, and that's impossible because I'm a Dallas Cowboys fan. So obviously I see what you did there. I have gay pride, and I love the Cowboys, but gosh, they've sucked for the past 30 years.
We're gonna make the playoffs this year, though, right?
I doubt it. And, you know, I'm the biggest Cowboys fan in the world, but it's impossible for me to actually have any faith in the franchise because they've let me down so fucking hard.
Oh, stop it. They blew out the Bills 2 Super Bowls.
Oh, I know. I forgot that you are.
Jesus Christ. Dallas, by the way, I don't even like being in Dallas because the Sabres lost in the NHL
the Buffalo
Finals.
Sabres
Brett
did,
Hall,
too.
no goals.
Yeah, I remember that because they talked about the Super Bowl then. I remember that. Wow. So I didn't even.
I have no love for Dallas, but this has been a great time. I've had a blast being here. Thanks for having me.
You did enjoy Dallas? Okay, good. Thank you for coming
So fun.
here. Dave Landau's a great comedian. And guys, the Bills are a great team. They're better than the Cowboys are now, but they still have a lot of work to do. They still haven't won a Super Bowl ever, right?
No. No, when people talk about them winning the AFL championship in 1960,
you can't count that. That does not count. All right, guys. Everybody go freaking support Karl. He's putting in some good work. Go support Stuttering John. Who else in the Dabbleverse needs some support right now?
Blind Mike Project, The Creep Off. This little
Joey C. Go follow Joey C. And everybody leave a comment and tell him how good of a job he did at that city council meeting. And guys, we have a city council meeting I went to with Mondo, the famous IRL streamer. And tomorrow night, no offense to our great guest Karl, we have a legend.
Drew.
You tell him we got Dr. Drew.
I talked to Dr. Drew one time. He was on Shuli's show, and they had me on as a guest.
I saw that episode.
We tried to figure out if John's a narcissist or not.
Yeah,
because Drew did that famous thing on the Howard Stern show where he found out that Robin Quivers was the biggest narcissist on that show. Dr. Drew's great.
Well, Dr.
That's awesome.
We got to do the narcissism test. Jimmy, that's a good idea. We got to rip off Karl. They're online. I want you, me, Brandon, Chris, and George, and Nathan. We all need to see who the biggest narcissist is. I'm going to win that because I am on the Pimp on a Blimp. Nobody's a bigger narcissist than Primetime 99. All right, guys, that's been our show. Tomorrow night, you don't want to miss it. Dr. Drew, make sure to share, like, and subscribe this show. Clip it, post it, I'll reshare it. And guys, we end the show the same way every time with that freestyle finale. So DJ, hit that beat. Yo, bitch! Spirit Airline, Spirit Airline. I'm Primetime and they crash all the time. Karl on the couch, make you say ouch when he reacts to your whack-ass podcast. He's gonna make you feel like a dumbass. He's the kid in the corner. Look at how he's running.
It's like a Beastie Boy.
He's on fire.
What you want? What you want?
Please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Go follow Karl. We love you, Joey C. Peace.